We're going to jump into our next segue of how can I make/maintain friendships with other girls and or women. I, 18 female, have always struggled with making female friends. Ever since I started secondary school, I noticed that my friendships with girls never lasted more than 2 years. On the other hand, I find it quite easy to make and maintain friendships with boys. Is there a way to overcome this, so to speak? I started university last week and would really like to make a few girlfriends and hopefully keep them. T, I think we got a little bit of expertise in this field, only because now you turning 25 in how many days?
And what's today, the 3rd?
Yeah, today's the 3rd.
14 days, exactly 2
Yeah,
weeks.
we got a little Sagittarius in the house.
Sagittarius gang.
It's Sagittarius season. She gonna be celebrating up until January 1st.
You know it. And we're very, very social people. Most Sagittariuses are very social people.
Okay, that's a good segue into how to maintain friendships. How do you maintain your friendships, especially with us being so far away from each other?
I feel like definitely anytime you think about that person or that person's on your mind, just reach out and talk to them. But with somebody being that young, like 18, like they're probably not having the whole like mid-20s trying to maintain friendships from different states. I would say at a young age like that, I would really reflect more on the people that you are befriending. Because if you're that young and you have friendships that are ending so quickly, maybe you're not befriending the right type of people. Maybe you're befriending people off the wrong things like popularity or looks or whatever. And I would say that goes back to like making friends and maintaining them. If you're befriending people that you're truly compatible with and that you like truly like each other and or want to be friends with each other for the right reasons, that would naturally last, you know?
No, definitely. And I think too, again, like you mentioned, she is 18 and I'm like just thinking about how friendships have evolved over the years. When I was in high school, again, it's who you seek out to be in your circle. My mom always told me birds of a feather flock together. And I know it's been such a big rebuttal sometimes over that statement, but the people that you hang around, you do slowly start to pick up those habits, their mindset, just their energy also becomes you. So you just want to be really cognizant of who you allow to be in your circle. And it goes back to communication. I remember when I was 18 and forming deep friendships in high school, I have 2 best friends from high school. And one of my best friends from high school, she always brings up this video I made for her birthday. I'm like, girl, I need to see that because I heard it was a little, not wild, but I did interviews from people around the school and said, what do you love about this person? And I put it in a DVD.
That's so cute.
Like stuff like that, like to say I thought about you and I really care for you. I feel like finding friends who are not afraid to show their love for you is really important, because when you have friends who are like, I ain't congratulating you on that, or kind of like holding back and like not giving you those flowers that you receive, like that's the energy that you need. And like when I think about how did I like really keep those friends, especially like me being 25 now, but in high school, like I buy them flowers on their birthday, write cards, just small acts of love to be like, I care for you, I'm your friend. And again, those people would reciprocate some of that energy. I will say I'm a little extra in the terms of gift giving, but still I think they were amazing friends. And that's just the way that I would show my love for them. So I think the biggest thing though, you really do have to be mindful of who you are befriending so young.
Yes, I love that. And I agree 100%. And even just reflecting and looking back on high school, like naturally, if you're a good person, people will gravitate towards you. So it goes back to like checking yourself. Because like if you're talking about the girls you're friends with, it makes sense that like your friendship's not going to last more than 2 years. Or like if you're doing certain things to not be a good friend, you should check to be like, not only how do I make friends, but how do I be a good friend? Like, that's part of maintaining the friendship, is just being a good friend, a good person. Like you said, like, people will really remember certain things that you may have thought was small, like
I forgot about that.
Flowers, or some things you may never, some things you may not even remember, really sticks with people just because like they really felt that and they really loved that. So like, going back to the whole concept of treating people how you want to be treated, like show up for people in the ways you want them to show up for you, like all of the reciprocity that goes into what do you want from your friend, you should also be giving that to that individual. And if that's somebody you're compatible with and you're giving that reciprocity, y'all would be able to maintain that friendship easier way past 2 years. And then even going back to being the 18 and being that young and just reflecting back on high school, I just think about like a lot of girls who were best friends or like friend groups and stuff back then. And a lot of people were going to be like, you're not going to be friends with these people after high school, or you got like a lot of people would say stuff like that. And some of these people, they still are. And some of them, you will not catch them in the same room together. But it's one of those things where you're in a moment of life where you're changing drastically from year to year. And so understanding that through that process, it is uncomfortable for some people to make friends because you're learning a lot about yourself. And if you're easily influenced in, that throws it completely off on how to even keep friends. If you're being easily influenced about a lot of different peer pressures or negative things in high school, like it's almost like an identity battle. So if you don't know who yourself, how you going to really know the people you want to be friends with?
I say it really comes down to you got to know yourself, because if you don't, you're going to start looking for things that maybe they don't hold the same values as you, but you don't know that quite yet. So it's really important to dig deep and be like, who am I? What do I want for myself? Who do I see my friends being 10, 15 years from now? Honestly, like, that's not even a question I used to ask myself when I was in high school. Like, who do I see my friends being? But a lot of times we think about, who do I see myself marrying, or who do I see myself doing this with? But I think it is important to ask yourself the same question for your friendships as well.
Yeah, and like, give yourself grace, because I know, like, I mean, at any age it can be kind of difficult making and maintaining friends, but like, just do a lot of self-reflection as far as like who you are as a person, the type of people you want in your life, why you want those type of people in your life, and so on. And then, things will naturally start to balance itself out. I suggested a topic because I feel like this is something, as I get older, I understand more. But the whole topic of how you consider somebody a friend versus considering somebody like a best friend. And I feel
maybe we could throw acquaintances in there too.
And acquaintance, the levels of friendship, basically.
I like
tiers
that.
Of
levels
friendship.
Of friendship.
How you have stranger, acquaintance, associate, friends, best friend,
that's a lot.
sister, soulmates.
Okay, the difference between best friends, acquaintances, and overall the levels of friendship. How do you view it?
As somebody who used to really struggle with this,
T she is like such a people person.
Even as I feel like I have to tell a story time as like
sometimes
a little girl.
To a fault, but like so lovely.
Because I'm one of those people, I really do see the best in people. And I was just thinking about my very first best friend when I was in the first grade. I lived in Connecticut. I was like one of the very few black girls at the school. It was a little white girl I was friends with, and I thought it was my ride-or-die, that was my shawty, my best. I was telling everybody that's my best
shooter.
Friend. My parents, my family, my brothers, everybody knew her as my best friend. And long story short, my birthday had went by, and when her birthday came, homegirl didn't even give me an invitation.
Oh man,
to her birthday party. And that hurt very, like, as a first grader.
Especially as a little girl, you feel that so deeply.
If she used to be kikiing with me in the classroom, like, I was very confused, and I just really did not understand. And, that could do with, like, little racism and parents and influence and stuff like that. But I also feel like I should have been able to peep something like that. But it was one of those things where like I just really thought this individual was my best friend. Yeah. And it was somebody I probably shouldn't have even been associated with.
T, I'm stressed.
But anyways, going into that, from that young moment to even throughout my life, as I said, as a social person, everybody's like, how you got so many best friends? Why call everybody your best friend?
Yeah, I'd be asking that
where
too.
Where are those people now?
That is not your best friend here.
Your best friend from 2008, where is she now? I'm playing.
Whoa. No, she got me thinking. Now I said, who her best friend 2008?
I'm kidding. But like, even going back into the outgrowing people, I feel like a best friend is somebody you could just be wholeheartedly open with. You guys understand each other. You love each other. Not saying you have to 100% agree on everything, but y'all can agree to disagree in a way that's not toxic. You know, like I just feel like somebody you can 100% be yourself with, to the point where it's like, this person may know me better than I know myself sometimes. They help me realize and understand and really see me, you know? So I feel like that's somebody where it gets past the point of friendship to the point where you can consider them a best friend. You know, they're going to show up for you. If you really need them, they will be there.
Yeah. I think too, like best friends and friends, like for example, I would say people who I consider friends, sometimes some of my coworkers who I just really rock with you. Like, honestly, I think that's my friend. We can go out together. We can have intellectual conversations with each other. But in terms of when it gets really deep at my core, that is my best friend. And I do not have too many best friends, because also too, you have to just be so careful with who you share your information with. And I think that's what it comes down to when I'm differentiating between my best friend and my friend from work. Like, I'm probably not about to tell my friend from work my deepest, darkest secrets, but my best friend who has seen me evolve through so many stages of my life. And even, I was gonna say, do I have any new best friends? I don't. My last best friends was from college, and she's sitting right here. Mm-hmm. You got any new best friends? Oh, no. You know, I shouldn't even ask that. I shouldn't even ask her that. I have somebody
in my life that will probably have that title within the next year.
Okay, she got a timeline on it.
But as somebody, I mean, I would say, when I don't want to say it's a toxic trait, but it can be, the whole like having so many people that you consider a best friend. Mm-hmm. But like you said, like somebody you've hung out with their family, you know their family, you know their other best friends, like you're really ingrained in this person's life to the point where like you show up for them like family, you know what I mean? Like you really have so much love for that person. And I feel like, yeah, that gives somebody a best friend type placement. But also too, like you were saying, somebody who knows you at your core. Like I feel like friends, there's friends that are friends for certain things. Like you can have your party friend, your going out friend. You can have your church friend, your brunch friend, you know, all these different, your workout friend, all these gym friend, all these different things. But I feel like a best friend is something where you can do any of those things with them and you good. Like it's y'all vibing, y'all having a good time. Even if it's like, you know, somebody want to sit out or something, like you understand, like, you know, that's not their cup of tea or whatever. Right. Like you just really understand this person and you rock with them to the point where it's like, even though that's not my cup of tea, you want to do this right now, we can do it together because you're my best friend type of shit.
Even then too, it's like I flew down here to see my best friend, but I do have a friend from work who also lives down here. But honestly, at this stage, I'm not at a stage where I'm going to buy a ticket and go fly to her house and sleep in her bed and like just be so intimate with that person. That is definitely a best friend. And even like with acquaintances, I feel like it's not even worth it to go into acquaintances because I'm like, it's high by, it's no hard feelings. Like I haven't really developed an emotional relationship with you to any extent besides I know you at face value and that's about it. But I will say like best friends, like I feel like even though whether it's one person, 3 people, 4 people, especially I know sometimes it's hard for some folks to be like, no, that is my best friend, especially, you know, Drake always be saying no new friends. But when I think about that, I'm like, that's low-key toxic.
It is. I've always said that. As somebody that loves to make friends, I literally have a tweet from when that song came out, and I'm like, how are you guys going to make friends? Like, what happens if you lose all these
and then you have all
people
these
in your
old
life
friends
that you outgrow, and you over here,
no new friends.
Lonesome, big lonesome. Because even adult friendships, even like looking at my mom, for example, like somebody that's in their 50s, you go to a new job, you move to a new city, you move to a new place, you should be willing and open to connect and meet with new people. And if that person grows into a friend, a best friend, all the lovelier and merrier even more, because you have another valuable soul or being in your life that you truly love and you can vibe with, and they enhance your human experience. Like, I feel like we are put on this earth to interact with I'm kissing the mic. We are put in this earth to interact each other. And that's why I'm such a big proponent of, like, you know, just really networking and seeing people and making friends. And if you have multiple best friends, that's a blessing, because you have a good amount of people you can truly see them and they can truly see y'all, and y'all are there for each other. I think that's so beautiful.
Yeah, it definitely is. And it's like, when you do have those multiple best friends, it's like we talked about earlier, you form such deep relationships. So then if, and hopefully not, but you know, this is life, if something ever happens to that best friend in that friendship, it's like, it does cut deep. Have you ever lost a best friend?
Girl, too many. Let me stop.
Wait, see.
I told you the whole first grade experience. Like,
yes.
Like, I would say one thing, even though I've lost a lot of friends, I'm not saying I can't be problematic or I'm not the problem. I would say a lot of the friendships I've lost sometimes come from jealousy of me having other close friends or best friends, to the point where it just gets toxic, or what's the word, codependent or controlling or whatever. Like, you shouldn't have an issue with your friend having other friends that aren't you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like that has been one of the reasonings where I end up losing best friends, or even then just getting too close to people in ways where they didn't deserve that much from you, because they weren't capable of, you know, reciprocating it in the same ways or whatever. I mean, there's been a lot of different reasons, but like I said, you know, there's chances I'm gonna lose some because I be having so many. But
that is, the more you have, the more you will likely lose.
Yeah.
Like,
but I would say, even like thinking recently of somebody I thought I considered a best friend, and I thought I would be close to them for a very long period of time. And even this individual, like a lot of people, when I lose certain friends, depending on how it goes, I don't consider it like, I don't block them. I don't consider it like 100% love lost. I may not follow you anymore because certain things can be triggering. Does not serve like me no if more. You can, like, if you can clap and support other people, but somebody you consider your best friend, you can't clap and support for them on social media, but random strangers that you barely know, you can hype them up. I do find stuff like that weird, and I will unfollow you if I don't want to be friends with you anymore after whatever situation we had, and I still feel like it's triggering. But it hurts. Like you said, it hurts. It makes you do a lot of self-reflection and question things about yourself, of why it happened in this way. But the honest truth is, like, sometimes you just outgrow people. Sometimes people are meant for seasons. And that doesn't go into say, like I said, I don't block people because I don't think it's like we will never be best friends, or we will never be friends again. We may never be best friends again, but there can be a possibility in the future where we are able to talk and come to an understanding and rekindle the friendship to the point, you know, like, we're cool and it's genuine love, but it may not ever be that close best friendship that you used to have, you know?
No, definitely.
Now I want to pose that question to you.
Okay, what's your question?
Have you lost a best friend?
Have I lost a best friend? So, I'd say one in my lifetime, actually. Like when I was younger, like I had some close girlfriends, but literally like kindergarten, it was like 3 of us. But I don't think I could at that age really understand like what I needed out of a friendship as like a 5-year-old. But even I'd say as of late, a high school best friend of mine, we were very, very close. Even before my friend who I met in the 4th grade, like literally did everything together. And like, as far as I can remember, like we were always friends. But then when I look back, even as I went through college and now me as an adult, I feel like our paths are just extremely different. Like we don't really see eye to eye on a lot of things, but the truth is like we don't really talk. So it's like even for us to see eye to eye, I feel like there would need to be that conversation there. But I feel like over time our communication just started to wane, and eventually there was no communication whatsoever. So I feel like this was a person definitely from my past who I considered a best friend, who now is no longer a best friend. But the thing is, it's like for me, especially when friendships end, I even feel like it was so much time in between that friendship where there was kind of so much blank space where I don't feel like there needs to be a final conversation, or like I don't really need that kind of closure just because I know we're in 2 different spaces in our lives. And the thing is, I don't even know her anymore. And I feel like when you don't know another person, how can you really come from a place of, oh, I don't like you for this reason, I don't like you for this reason? I actually don't, it's not really any pinpoint, this is exactly, I feel like this is why we should not, further this relationship. But I feel like you outgrow some people, and losing a best friend, honestly, it doesn't hurt as bad anymore. It's just, I think about when I was saying, oh, like sometimes people pop up in your dreams. I will say she definitely has popped up in my dreams. And I feel like because I've thought about it so much, because I will say I no longer follow this person on social media just because I'm like, I don't want to be reminded of what used to be. Like, it's not serving me any longer. And I feel like you really have to be mature enough to understand that. Because I also think some people go searching for closure, and then sometimes you get the answers that you really don't want. And then you get your feelings hurt. Mm-hmm. You really do. Do you feel like in any relationships, have you ever been ghosted?
I'm the one that goes. I'm sorry.
Oh, you go.
I was gonna say I'm the type of person. If I don't have anything nice to say, I won't say it at all.
Okay.
And if it's one of those things where we've talked about something as a friend, I've communicated like, this makes me feel this way and I don't like this, or you communicated this makes me feel this way and I don't like this, and we have that common understanding. I shouldn't continue to do those things. You shouldn't continue to do those things. So if one of us breaches that understanding or agreement, like if it's something to the point where it's like there's other issues, there's other things, like it's more stressful trying to maintain the friendship. Mm-hmm. Like a friendship shouldn't be hard to maintain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like I will literally go radio silent. You will get up on social media one day and I don't took my follow off. You know how you can remove your follow? So
yeah, I actually didn't seen that before in some instances. I'm like, this low.
I will unfollow you. I may remove my follow from you. Like I just it's just like, sometimes you just gotta move in silent, because like you said, trying to have closure, you can either, my perspective of it is like, I don't want to hurt this person's feelings, because I got to the point where I don't really have, like, I can really communicate through love, but if you try me in a way that I know you're probably going to try me, and I know how I'm probably going to respond, and we don't even need to get there, I'm just go ghost.
But even then, I feel like there was an event that happened where there's almost like an equal understanding, like, okay, maybe we should not talk, versus those people where everything seems to be going good and then boom, disappear. Have you ever experienced that or done that to someone, Tiara?
So yes, I have been ghosted. And yes, I have ghosted people. Coming to people that are close, there's usually a conversation or things or whatever that happened before that ghost was given. But I feel like there's always reasons for either party of somebody ghosting someone.
Outside of friendships, it's like if a man were to ghost you, like say you're dating this guy and things are going well and
that's
then
happened.
Boom, radio silence.
That's happened. I had somebody that was like, I think you're my soulmate. And everything was going extremely well. Like, I really liked this person. I thought he really liked me. We were FaceTiming every day. Like, everything was great. And we were in 2 different cities. That could be a thing, too. But this man really ghosted me. And there's different reasons behind that. I thought the man got arrested or something. Because I'm where did he go? Like, why is he not talking to me? What happened?
And you still ain't never heard from that man?
I have never heard from that man.
Wow.
But he did get back. I do think he could have got locked up or something. I don't know what happened. I don't know why, because he was a stand-up person. But I don't know. But long story short, could have been a number of things. This man could have had a wife and kids somewhere. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just so many different reasons behind it, to the point where I'm a firm believer of what's meant for you will be for you, and what's not, God will find his way to take it out of your life. So I ain't questioning it. Like, if you ghost me to that point, I'm not gonna pry and ask for answers. I remember he had randomly popped back up on Instagram. I unfollowed him so quick. I said, oh no.
Yeah.
Not Mr. Ghost.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, when somebody ghosts you, I just think it's very inconsiderate to ghost someone. If it's like a code red and you're like, this person talking crazy, like I want nothing to do with them. Say it's like this man you done found off a Hinge or some dating app, and you like, no, you need to be ghosted. But when you start forming a relationship with somebody and then you ghost them, it's giving you need to go to therapy. It's like, why would you ever leave somebody in this blank hole? Because again, treat people how you want to be treated. And when it comes down to it, I always think about, every situation, again, you will not get closure. But when it's something like that, whether a friendship or relationship, and things are seemingly going well, and then you kind of just stop talking to somebody, that's an issue.
I agree.
It's like you handle conflict with silence, or you don't know how to handle conflict at all, or you got bored and you're like, actually, I don't want to talk to this person no more. I'm just not going to respond. Like, that's really is traumatizing, and it's emotionally taxing.
I feel like one of my recent experiences with ghosting, I guess somebody that I was dating, is I feel like this individual, I know you shouldn't take certain words lightly, but I think this individual meet majority of the categories of being considered a narcissist, to the point where I knew there was no point in even trying to, like, I remember our last conversation when I was just basically telling them, like, I didn't want to talk to them anymore. Mm-hmm. And they were trying to make me feel like as if I had to give them a reason that they can comprehend and understand. Like, if you can't understand that, I really shouldn't even have to owe you a reason. If somebody says, I don't want to talk to you, like, yes, I can tell you why this is and that. But at the same time, I'm not trying to drag you or tell you, say something to you that I know is going to make you upset, to the point where I rather, even I asked my mom about it. I'm like, do you think I should have a conversation with this person of why I don't want them in my life?
No.
And my mom was like, no. And she was so right. And I remember even the last conversation, I should have just not spoke to him, but he kept calling. I picked up the phone and I was like, to be honest, like, I just don't really want to talk to you anymore. Like, I don't want to see you. I don't want to communicate with you. Can we meet up over coffee and you can write a list of the reasons you feel
heck
this
no
way? Like,
girl, what?
Literally, like, you cannot be wrong. You have to things have to go your way type thing, to the point, like, you can't even comprehend. If somebody tells me, I don't really want to talk to you anymore, I don't want to continue this friendship or this relationship, I may say why. Mm-hmm. But if it's like, that's just how I feel. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't need to know the real why. Like, I'm gonna just say okay and let it be. I'm not gonna keep prying for answers, because why do I want to continue to have somebody in my life that doesn't want to be in, like, that doesn't want me to be there or whatever? Yeah. Like, don't
force no relationship.
Like I said, I normally don't block. That man got blocked. I
know. So T also was like, she normally doesn't block men. I was like, girl, I be blocking so many people. My block list is so long,
and I feel like I may have kind of ghosted somebody else. Like I said, I be meeting a lot of people, and like, I can talk to somebody on the phone for 2 hours, and then if that second hour you say some really crazy out of pocket, I may address it. But if I feel like if it's something that I address can open a whole can of worms that I do not feel like dealing with or trying to educate you about, I may hang up and say bye. You will never hear from me again. And it's not even like it's just I didn't feel like trying to educate you on how that's misogynistic, or how you just basically said you're a pedophile, or like how you just said these really problematic stuff that I don't really want to put the energy to address. I was like, okay, you know that meme where they fade into the bush?
Yes.
Sometimes that's sometimes how the ghosting goes. Like, you be real cool with somebody, even on the first date. Like, there's certain things somebody can say, and immediately, this is the last time. This is the last date, the last time I will speak to them. Like, this is it. It may not have been something you're gonna get up and walk out on, but it's something that revealed enough about their character to know I do not want to continue with this person in my life.
Yeah, girl, when he asked to show up and write the list of whys, I think that would have been the flag of, oh no, you
there were
tripping.
So many red flags. And even to the whole, even talking about podcasting, he was one of those men that listen to a lot of podcasts about women. Why are you listening to men talking about women that aren't even in relationships, that probably aren't even friends with women, that don't have good relationships with their mothers, sisters? Why are you taking advice from these type of men? And big question for the podcast folks, why are we giving these people so much attention to the point they even have a platform that people will consider viable, or what's called valuable? Like, what's the point? So I feel like that was one of the red flags where I should have just been like, okay, this is ghost. But I'm like, no, I kind of want to hear them out or whatever. No.
Yeah, no, that was a waste of time.
It was a waste of time, girl.
It was
a waste of time.
Even a well-deserved
And this was
loss.
a person that on paper, everything looked right. They have a job. Look, that I'm not saying that's everything.
But I said, girl, anybody can have a job now.
Like, that's not everything. But like, on paper, I thought this person would be somebody I was very compatible with, and like our initial conversations was good. But then like, I feel like after each date, there was just red flags to the point where I was like, that should have been the last date. But I was like, okay, because they have all these other things right, like maybe I'll see them again. But no. And that's the thing too, like, just because somebody may have had the list of everything you want as far as like occupation, religion, like a lot of things you feel like you're compatible, but the big things like ideologies suddenly start to reveal themselves. Like, for example, like people can both be Christians and think, oh, we're compatible. There's so many different types of Christians.
Yeah, even like outside of your religion, it's like what else goes into it?
Exactly.
What are our political beliefs? What are
even political beliefs? Like somebody that can they both consider themselves Democrats. There's so many different ideologies and principles and policies that still differentiate, like categories. A lot of times, even like just being Black, like there's so many multifaceted identities that you may think you were compatible with somebody, and then they're like, that's not it. Like, I just bring in Christianity because I feel like that's something that's easy, where it's like there's different types of Christians. Like there would be people that be like, oh, you can't be Christian and be pro-choice. And then there's people that are Christian that you can be pro-choice and it's not a problem. Like there's just so many different things that you were compatible with this person. And then you have conversations and you're like, actually, I don't agree with this. This is
that's why you got to meet people in person. And that's why you got to get to know who people are. Not even just at face value, but when people show you who they are, believe them. My mom always told me that, especially like when you're diving into something new, sometimes people could pretend to be something they're not. And the longer you start to hang out with this person, the more you start to go out with this person. You're like, oh, check. Okay, noted. Oh, that was a red flag.
Only play the part for so long. Yeah. And that's even with dating.
It's on a
that goes back to
time.
My experience with dating. That's one thing that I've noticed from all the different dates I've been on in this past year. A lot of people will play that part, but they can only play it for so long. They can play it the first 40 minutes of the date, and then they open up and say some real disrespectful things about women to the point where you're like, oh, there you go. There goes right there. That's you right there. But a lot of people can play the part. And I'm a big believer of really realizing, even from friendships, like even after 2 years, people can change. So it's like giving yourself time and space to really see and understand somebody, even as they're growing. Like, you know?
No, definitely.
Be different.
No, I know. And I think that's just a good segue back into like friendships, and just as you continuously see somebody grow, especially me and Tiara have been friends for over 5 years. Like,
we don't see all the changes.
Like, we've seen so many changes
since 2016 or 2015.
Y'all, we gonna figure it out.
Okay, we met in 2015, so we gonna go with that. We was friends from the moment we laid eyes on each other. It's 2015.
No, we ain't gotta lie, but I'm like, we gonna figure it out.
I wish we could look to see when we got our number saved, because I remember, I feel like when I had your number saved in my phone, it was 2016.
That's fine. I really don't know. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm really not even gonna lie about it. But I do think, just like, especially when you see your friend evolve so much, and like the girl who's 18 and looking how to maintain friendships or even make friendships, or my thing is, especially Tiara's in Atlanta, I'm in LA right now. And something I do is like, I like to schedule little FaceTime calls. And like, that's something I do with all of my close girlfriends, because I just know myself. And I know too, if somebody just dumps like some really heavy information on me, I want to make sure I have the time to properly respond to that. Like, I never just want to rush anything, but I do know like sporadic calls are always nice. But when I really want to catch up with somebody, I'm like, I know this is going to be a 2-hour phone call. Like, I know it's going to be a 5-hour phone call. So with me and Tiara, I feel like in LA, and her working, me working, traveling, we took a trip to Paris this year, y'all. Like, we have done some really cool stuff this year, and I'm just so excited to see how our friendship continues to evolve. And I think even 10 years from now, when we look back at this podcast episode, I'm like, girl, remember we were in Atlanta, we saw 21 Savage, we went to Metro Boomin party. Like, I just feel like there's so many beautiful memories that we've made so far. And yeah. But I'm gonna wrap this up. T, thank you so much for joining me on the Keep It Cute podcast. And no matter what we talk about, we gonna always keep it cute. I love you.
I love you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Bye.